Franctony Flortano. Uh, just kidding,
Yeah.
Francisco Flores. um, and this is Hindsight 2020, a musical retrospective. This is a podcast where we talk about albums that we think are significant, culturally defining, or just really good albums that we really enjoy. Also, we had like 5 viewers. I did that Anthony Fantano joke, and we went down to one. So I'm very sorry. That's what happens. So it feels like I never left the comedy clubs. So this episode of Hindsight, we're going to be talking about Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion.
A
I personally love this record. We brought a panel along to help us talk about this album and why we think it's so good. Or, if you don't think it's good, you can also share that opinion. As always, first, let me introduce my co-host. I've got here, actually, he's right next to me this time. We've got Arnold Treviño.
Hey,
How's
what's
it
up?
going?
What's up, fam?
And right here, we've got a brand new guest on the podcast, local musician. Uh, we've got Lex Chapa right here.
What's
How you
up?
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. I'm digging the red solo cup.
Oh,
Really
thank
adds to
you.
the
Got some
party attitude of the
half and
podcast.
half tea and
Uh,
lemonade.
some half and half. Hell yeah. That's the best drink. Uh, right below me, we have our featured guest of the night. He chose this album, and I'm very excited that he
Yeah.
chose this album because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. Give it up for Mr. Raymond Cabrera,
Thank you.
comedian, radio host, podcaster, and overall great dude.
Well, now he makes ramen,
And
right?
Yeah.
That is-
Now
those
make
are-
ramen.
Oh yeah, he makes ramen too. So I don't know what that official title would be, a rameneer.
Yeah, ramen.
I don't know. Uh,
Ramen boy.
we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. Leave it,
The ra-
ramen boy.
The ramen boy.
Leave it in the
The ramen
comments. What do you
boy.
call someone who makes ramen? And our final guest of the night, local podcaster, comedian, community advocate, uh, art meeting curator. What other title can we throw on you?
local hater, I guess, because of this.
Local hater.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed.
Local hater, Roger Ramirez. How you doing, dude? Haven't seen you in a hot minute.
How's it going, guys? I'm good, man. I'm just finishing up some spaghetti, and it's funny. I had this little like protein shaker here. You know what's in here? It was iced tea, like Lipton, like the powder stuff. So that's what I use it for because it makes it shaking. So yeah.
You know what? That's
gotta keep
fine,
up appearances.
Yeah. Gotta act like we're doing something. So let's introduce the album and the artist real quick. We're going to be discussing Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotions. Here's Arnold's doodle for the album cover. He does this for every album, and they just consistently get better. Emotion was released in 2015. I can't remember how well it did on the charts, but it was her second full length album right after her debut, Kiss.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to talk about this. So I first of all, let's go around. Initial thoughts on the record, just like a quick description. Like, what are your thoughts on the record? Like, where are you standing on it right now before we go in deep, track by track? Arnold?
Well, I'm gonna have to give it to her on this album. I enjoyed this album. She put in a lot of work for this album. Actually, she put in she wrote 200 songs to get out of this whole "Call Me Maybe" limelight to avoid become a one-hit wonder. So you gotta respect that, all that, you know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I actually want to get into that later in the podcast. We'll go into it like after we do the track by track. But yeah, there's some Carly Rae Jepsen trivia I know. So
It's good to know.
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Carly Rae Jepsen trivia.
Yeah.
Lex, initial thoughts? Here we go.
I feel like, okay, she used really unique chord progressions, right? I don't know if that was her that did that, or if that, like, did other people write with her? Do you guys know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had she's got co-writing credits on all the songs, but she did have
Okay.
a couple producers on there.
So everything was written really well. The music was really unique, but I feel like I was super disappointed with the lyrics. I feel like
Okay.
it felt to me as if, I don't know, it was real shallow-ish to me, the topics that were talked about in the songs. But
Okay. I can see that.
good sound though. Good music, lyrics.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I definitely I could see where that comes from.
Yeah.
Raymond, let's get into it. Your thoughts on the record?
Okay, I love this album more than I love myself.
Oh my god.
This
Yes.
album, it's flawed in many ways, but it is a great album, and there's a reason why I chose it. And I'm not saying it's a perfect album, but this album has some of the most influential work in probably pop for the past 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, like if we wouldn't have had this album, we wouldn't have After Laughter by Paramore.
It's
We
funny you bring that album up. I was gonna make some comparisons to that one later, but
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like there's so many good albums that came out after this, and I think that Carly Rae Jepsen really set the tone for it, because where most people in the pop industry were trying to look forward, she was looking backwards and going back to like the 80s style, some of the 90s style pop, and that's where she really flourished by not really making sort of a nostalgia album, but more of reinventing that style and making it into something new.
Okay.
And that's what I have to say about general thoughts about
Yeah. Emotion.
Emotion.
All right. I'm digging that. I'm digging that. Roger, let's hear him. Initial thoughts on the record. Let's get into that.
All right, yeah. So initial thoughts. Going into this, like you have to understand, I'm 5 years late on this album,
Same.
and I hadn't heard or figured out anything about Carly Rae Jepsen since the Call Me Maybe stuff, right? So her relevance to me in like any sort of musical capacity at this point, when I was just about to listen to the record for the first time, was the very first song, the intro song, right? The right? It was a meme, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? Like to me, that's a meme song, and that's why like when I was going into it, I was like, okay, this is that's already a misstep for me, because when I hear songs that are kind of memed out like that, and I already know that they're like kind of like a joke song, it was weird to start off like that. But I listened to the album 5-6 times over, to give it its like fighting chance and like understand exactly why I liked or disliked this album. So initial thoughts for it. It's a solid album for its listenability, I guess, if that's the word. Its accessibility. Uh, but in terms, and I'm gonna agree with Lex here, because she basically like said the exact same thing I was gonna say as far as the anything further than that. It is completely shallow. I don't think has any sort of weight in terms of like an influential like base. And it is and I think it is everything that I dislike about pop music in one album.
Wow.
So
Wow, yeah,
that
That's
is
bold.
That's very
Yeah.
bold.
Okay,
And-
so let's
and,
stop
and
here.
if you want to, we can go into it like dissecting it further later on.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
I gave this a
absolutely-
lot of thought, so I don't want it to sound like it was just coming off as a hater. That's just the way I felt about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, I get that. So, okay, it's funny that you bring up, the meme kind of the meme reputation of maybe not. I didn't know that song in particular was a meme, but I know Carly Rae Jepsen was kind of a musical meme, and that is one of my opinions as to why this album You mentioned how you were 5 years late to it. You hadn't really heard of it or really heard it, and I've been giving a lot of thought as to why, and I do think it's part of the blame in that lies on Call Me Maybe's reputation as this musical meme, and
Yeah.
I feel like it became a meme because a lot of people wanted to deny just how genuinely catchy and fun the song was. So kind of saying that you like a song for the meme just became another way of saying that it was like a guilty pleasure,
Yeah.
right? Like that's kind of what it felt like. So, uh, I felt like Carly wanting to get out of the shadow of Call Me Maybe's meme ability. It shows on this album, and that the fact that it became, quote unquote a meme was like a double edged sword. It spread everywhere. Everybody heard Call Me Maybe. Everybody knew it. Everybody sang along to it. But, with that kind of visibility came, the negativity of it being labeled a meme song. Everyone's like, oh yeah, dude, like I listened to this shit ironically. And so I feel like that tainted any chance of, well, not every chance, but it did definitely affect her work moving forward, because like what were people
Yeah.
going to expect, just like more meme music. So I feel like there was a lot riding on this album, and I genuinely think she delivered. So with that
Well,
being said,
I'm gonna be honest. Whenever I originally listened to this album, I listened to it ironically because I saw Fantano's review and I was like, Fantano, like it's. I get what you're saying, but there's no way that this is gonna be a good album. And
My
then
my
I listened to it once and I was like, there's something here. Listened to it again. 5 years later, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. And
my first exposure to the album actually, and now that I think back on it, was from the McElroys, my brother and me, the podcast. What's his name, Griffin, is in love with this album, so
yeah,
he constantly brings it up. But they always bring it up in the way of like like I'm a grown adult man, and I'm in
yeah,
love with Carly Rae Jepsen. And so
nothing wrong
that's
with that.
there you go.
and
Exactly.
so that's the like the way they always angle that like joke. So I never actually considered like sitting and listening to this album and thinking about it as like, oh, I'm gonna think about it the way I think about the rest of the music that I listen to. Like the dissect of like the Radiohead and the King Cruel stuff that I like listening to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna dissect it the same way because it just doesn't apply to me in terms of like relevance. And we'll get into that. Once you
Uh-huh.
start going, dude, it's good. I'm gonna say something that is gonna sound very bad. Um, the reason why it feels so shallow is because every song is the exact same fucking thing in terms of like topic. And you have to think
Yeah.
about it. You have to think about it. Like every single one of them is like I could say, "Oh, I'm a girl. I like this guy. I'm not sure if he likes
And it's
me.
not even it's not
Let's
even
take a
like
chance." And that's
it's like I'm
every
crushing
fucking
on a guy. It's not like serious love,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm infatuated with this dude. Like, let me tell him I like him.
I feel like that works for the album, because like I feel like
It makes sense.
there's like
Yeah.
there's a duality to the album that I didn't
Yeah.
realize until I started re-listening to it for this podcast. On the surface, it is a very genuinely sweet album. Like I
Yeah.
think she kind of refrains from using strong language, serious relationships. She doesn't say love. She doesn't say anything like that. She's
Yeah.
actually comes off, very innocent, very girly. Like I really, really like you and stuff like that. But
Ugh.
just kind of take a look. Hold on. Take a look a little deeper. Like not even like deeper. Just take a look at the actual lyrics, and you realize there's like this whole hidden like sexual awakening undertones,
Yeah,
and it's just like
Yeah.
see.
holy shit,
I
you
caught
know.
that. I caught
So
that, and I knew that that
I
was the point as far as like it going into the whole maturity phase. And the thing is
yeah.
that's what made it so shallow. Is that it wasn't so much a, a, a project that was geared towards like, hey, look, it's a coming of age album. It's an album to show
Exactly.
that I'm mature and I'm not like, hey, call me maybe, kind of thing. It's more of like a, hey, you want to fuck, but like not really, right? No, hang on.
Like,
I'm exaggerating. Look,
Yeah.
so all of those songs, that especially the one that you just mentioned, holy shit, man! I really, really, really like you. Was like, I really, really, really hated that song, and it was the only one that I was like, each time that I had to, because I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and listen, and I'm not gonna lie. Some of the times when I'd go on the re-listens, I would go and I'd fucking like, oh damn, this is a bop. Like I'm a fucking like, I'll listen to
Yeah.
this, right? But I will always skip. I really like you. I will always skip it because there's
I get
just
that.
that
I get
that
Yeah.
one. That one is just the so like universally applicable song. It's like if you crush that entire album into one song, it would be I really really like you, and that's why I always that's the way I felt about it being, the same formula in
I
terms of lyrics, because I'll agree, going back into the sound, they dove a lot into the 70s, 80s, 90s. That was a lot of that sound that they had in there, and that in that sense it is a really good album, right? But the formula for lyrics, the lyricism in it, completely just like, it's the same story.
Also,
Yeah.
like with me, my musical ears so used to listening to like R&B stuff, right? So usually it's like a slow tempo and like a nice bass line or whatever, and everything's really lyric based. So there's a whole story going on, right? With real intricate lyrics and stuff. And hearing stuff like I didn't just come here to dance. Like I feel like she could have worded it in a more like well, if it was intended to be, an innocent type of image, then I get it. But I feel like it could have been worded in a more mature type of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of agree
So
with that.
here,
I just Are we getting into the track listing? Should we do that?
I feel like we'll learn more
Oof.
details from each party
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we go through the tracks.
Okay, let's go
yeah.
through the tracks.
So
So
should we start with the first one?
this is the point in the album. Yeah, there's the point where in the album where we go track by track, give our thoughts on each individual track. By the way, I know in the group chat we kept arguing about which version of the album we're gonna get into, but just so we have time for final thoughts and plugs at the end of this, let's stick to the standard issue of the album, so 12 tracks, because last week we did a 12 track album and that we went over. So we'll stick to the standard edition. We can do an extra podcast where we talk about the bonus tracks. So let's start with track number one, "Run Away with Me." Let's get into it. We'll start. We'll go in the order that we are on screen. Arnold, thoughts on this song? Let's get into it.
All right. Well, I will say, as Roger disliked the opening sax to the song, I loved the opening sax to the song.
So good.
Because it tells you that this album is gonna be organic. It's not gonna really use like these like computer generated like instrumentals. It tells you, all right, we're gonna use like actual instruments. And I believe she played with a live band whenever she would tour for this. So the opening sax sets the stage for the entire album. A whole leaving a party, running away with someone are elements of a typical pop song. And I know some people get triggered on that, but for a nod to like the past, of course, you got to stick to the formula. But what I really loved about this song is that dancey, that pulsing bass beat. The like that feeling just made me want to just get on my feet and start just like cut the rug, like ruin my room. And I thought that was, I honestly thought that was euphoric, like of a feeling. So, and I don't really feel like that with songs most of the time. So with a very strong opening like that, the song ends with the same sax and a crowd vocalization like oh whatever. That I was just like, this is great. I'm in it. It's pigeonholed to pop music, but damn, she does a good job doing her uniqueness on it.
Yeah.
I could listen to the song by itself any time of the day if I'm like superior, like super depressed. Like I just lost all my family in a burning wreck, and and, my dog hung itself on like because it was depressed. I would say, this song is gonna pick me right up. So definitely hitting it with a this is a bop.
Okay. Strong words there. That's also some pretty bold statements. This is going to be a bold cast. Lex, thoughts on "Run Away with Me"?
Okay. I have the song names here, right? And I put a little star next to the ones that I thought were bangers. And I
Okay.
thought this was one of them. I really like the intro also. And when I listen to an album, I'll look for that same type of feeling, like that I always say endorphins. Like that endorphins get released when I listen to it, right? And I wasn't expecting that with a song on this album, honestly. But I did get that feeling too with this song. So this is one of the 4 that I thought were really good. So this one also had like a triplet type thing going on, which I thought was cool. And it's different kind of for a pop type song. So I was into that.
All right, awesome. Raymond, thoughts on "Run Away with Me"?
I love this song so much. Every time I hear that opening sax, I get so happy. I don't know why, but it is such a perfect just
It's so
opening to a
uplifting.
song. Like, it's almost like if you look at the album cover, you can picture that would be the opening of the, like, without listening to the album. That's the way it was for me. And then once the sax does come in, everything just like goes together, and it's like, this is it. This is gonna be such a fun ride. And it is, like, the track itself is, going away from just the sax. Like, it's a really good track. I can agree with, what is it, Arnold, that it's very like pop, like it's very into the pop skeleton, but Carly makes it her own, and that's
Yeah.
what she does best.
All right, cool. Roger, you look like you've been bottling it up.
Yeah.
"Run Away with Me."
No,
Roger wants to get smacked.
Right? He
no,
does.
dude. It's just, I was thinking about the way it was like everybody was like progressively making it like, dude, this song. It's like you expected. Like I wanted Raymond to almost be like, yo, that sax makes me come. Like, I was like, it was like, look, all right. I easy. I'll agree. Going into the album and having like the, in terms of like the best mood setter for like an album, it did a fucking great job as far as like setting the mood for what's going to be the rest of the of the album, like the overall theme of like poppiness, and like that, having that kind of retro party vibe, like it's like in like Stranger Things, kind of thing, but still having this like like that bumping dance rhythm stuff. I The bumping dance rhythm was the issue that I had with this, was that I liked the intro sax so much. It's like, so it's the reason why it was memed was because it was so catchy. It's just like like the current fucking, there's so many of them, but like the current TikTok song or the song that I hear everywhere, that was something that I would listen to normally. Actually, it was one of the songs that we would always listen to at the mic drop. Jack Stauber's Buttercup.
Mhm.
That song is so catchy and it got memed, right? But I mean, like that's kind of the same thing. You hear something, it's easy to make it into something because it's so catchy, right? So I had turned that kind of like idea, I tried to turn it off. I didn't say I disliked the sax. The very beginning of it, I think, is probably the strongest thing. The reason I dislike that song is because it gets lost in that theme of like booms, 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 kind of, like going into that dance bass rhythm. So and that part at the end where everybody just starts chanting and they all sing together. Whenever I hear that, I can't like the only bands I think I could get away with shit like that are like MGMT and like I don't know, Arcade Fire maybe, but like when you hear that, when I heard it on that, the first thing I thought was like Kids Bop, like this is a Kids Bop song, and so that's what made me kind of like stray from like, all right, well, this is what I know to expect for the next couple of songs or for the next couple of my first listen was like, all right, this is what I know to expect for the next album, hopefully, right? And then I heard it for the next couple of songs, and then you kind of get a little bit trailed off in the track listing afterwards. But yeah, that was my thought. Not something that I would put on repeat a lot, but I did show it to my girlfriend, and she asked me to put that on repeat multiple times. There is like, and that's just because that it is super catchy. The chorus, the baby, yeah. All right, that shit. I was like, okay, I like that, but the rest of it just felt like lost in the sauce. If you know that makes any sense, but yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna be the one to say it, Roger. We've all been talking about how great that intro sax is, and I was gonna say that intro sax makes me. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna say it. No, I love. I think it is a great tone setter for the album. Uh, I feel like this is one of the most modern sounding songs on the album. So I think it's just the chorus, the chanted chorus, kind of doesn't ring to me as 80 synth pop or whatever, but I like it. And this is one of those songs where like I that duality that I mentioned in the lyrics, it's most noticeable. Like you focus on the more innocent lines or the most innocent story in the song, which is like, "Hey, run away with me. Let's hang out for a little longer." But like right after that, there's like a line that says like, "I'll be your sinner in secret" and stuff like that. So it's like, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on here?" So this really does set the tone for that duality in the record. It's a really fun song. I do play it on repeat constantly. I have a lot of fun every time I listen to it. Yeah, I do feel like it does lose sight of its overall like aesthetic for the album near the chorus. The chorus does sound a little out of place to me as sounding a little bit more modern than what the rest of the album feels like. But that is a very minor complaint on my part. Like I absolutely love this song. Let's get into the title track. She was bold enough to put it as the second track on the album.
Yeah.
Emotion. Arnold, thoughts on Emotion?
Well, let me just put up this banner. All right, there we go.
There
Emotion.
it is. Yeah.
So I will say this song. I'm gonna say outright, not as strong as the opener, but not a weak song. So definitely like in the middle. I wouldn't say skippable, but I do like. I get a little bit of a hint of the "Waiting for Tonight" by J Lo, or originally by Third Party, which was made more popular by J Lo. So the "Waiting for Tonight." In the
How
first part of
weird!
the
I thought of
chorus,
that song too. Okay.
yes. So like when in the chorus when she's like, "In your fantasy, dream about me," I'm just like, yo, like this is definitely like a nod to J Lo '90s, like 1999, "Waiting for Tonight." Um, um, the song deals heavy with her being inside someone's head, being someone's fantasy, but in the bridge, and you'll notice that this in most of the songs, the bridge kind of gives a nod to like what the song is really about. And in the bridge, you get the hint that she wants something from this person too, and it's not just her being inside someone's head. It's like this person is also inside her head. So she says it, what if I turn the lights right down? I feel it, you feel it, I feel it. So that's kind of the nod where this is a little bit of her trying to be like, yo, I want to get with you. It's not just you fantasizing about me because I'm a pop star. Um, But besides that, song is solid, but I wouldn't say great, and it's not skippable. So it's a pretty decent song.
All right, okay. I do agree with that assessment. Lex, what are your thoughts on emotion?
Okay, so I would expect like a title track, like the title of the album. I would expect the song to be like real powerful, right?
Hmm.
So I would expect that to be one of my favorite ones. But I listened to it and I actually feel like it's one of the fillers of the album for some reason. And I know it wasn't meant to be that way, obviously, right? She named it Emotion. But like it has a relatively same tempo compared to the other songs, right? It has a nice melody too, but nothing that really sticks with me. I just feel like it was a little bit forgettable-ish, you know. And if I were to listen to the album again, it wouldn't be one of the few that I thought were really good quality songs, you know. So this one kind of made me a little sad, made me a little disappointed to hear, but
Okay.
that's okay. Yeah.
All right, okay. I feel that. I feel that. Raymond, thoughts on
I
emotion?
love this song. I'm just kidding. No, I actually do. I actually do agree with Arnold and Lexi. It's not. It's a good track, but it's not one of the best tracks. It's not up there with me. With the opening track, I think it's solid, but um, this is kind of the point where I said that this isn't a perfect album, because obviously this one's not much of a banger as other tracks. But I think I do see that it is still a track that I revisit every once in a while. It's just not something. If I were to go back and say I want to listen to an album, I mean a track off of Emotion, I think it's not one of the ones I would pick. So, but it's definitely solid. Not the worst track. There are tracks that I do kind of dislike on here, but yeah, that's about it. Solid
Okay.
track.
Roger.
It is
Roger,
really
thoughts on
weird.
emotion?
It's really weird, like seeing like the disparity. I thought as a title track, this personally to me was this one of the strongest on the album. I I
Oh,
I I felt like it had just enough of that like poppiness and just enough of like depth in order for it to be like a hey, if I'm going to be talking about something that's going to be like some sort of like mature thematic approach, then that's the one. And I think what made me think that was as I listened to the album and over and over again, and it was getting me like uh um I was trying to hear like what it was that made each different like each song distinct. I think what kind of brought that out and is the fact, right? The two songs that stood out to me the most were "Emotion" and "Warm Heart," "Warm Blood," "Warm
Warm
Warm
blood.
Blood.
yeah,
Blood.
I like Warm
Warm
Blood.
blood.
Oh wow.
And those two songs that were the ones that I knew were going to be for me like the stronger ones on the album because of their I guess like steering away from like the theme of the album. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. Here's I
Mhm.
have a gripe with pop, right? My gripe with pop is that every fucking song sounds the same to me, and I can tell you this about like if you listen to Emotion, one of the things that if I hear Emotion and then let's say I hear something like I don't know like Blinding Lights from the Weekend or something after that, it's very similar. There's not really much of variation in like chord progression and like the way the like song structure. So what makes it stand out to me is like lyricism. And in this one, this song I felt was the only one that kind of like branched itself out, instead of being the same, kind of ladder song. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. If I it wasn't it wasn't my favorite song on the album, but it is one of the I would say top three.
Okay.
Uh, Okay, yeah. Actually, I also I agree with Roger on this one. This is actually one of my favorites on the album. When we were messaging on the group chat, I remember I put my emotion power rankings. This was on my top three. Uh, I love it. It's funny that you guys say that it brings like vibes of like waiting for the night or whatever. When I listen to this song, I try to picture a music video to it, and I just remember that music video with like Paula Abdul dancing with like a cartoon wolf or something. Like that's what comes to mind. Like that early '90s style of like like this blend of like pop R&B dance tracks, and I love it, and I love how yeah, like how Roger said, the lyrics do kind of stray. It's not like a "I love you" type song. It does seem like a very this is as bitter as Carly Rae Jepsen is gonna get, and it's a pretty bitter song.
I
In your fantasy, go ahead.
it's going no, this is like it's got that high energy, like high sexual energy in it. That's what I got from it. Like that was the one that I thought like, okay,
See, it
she,
has that, but I feel like maybe I'm misinterpreting. But when I listen to that song, I think it dangles that sexual energy in front of you, like this is what you could have had you
I
not.
didn't feel that,
This,
guys.
I
Wow.
didn't feel it
How
either.
weird.
really, because it is like it's like in your fantasy you dream about me, and then it says like, what if I turn the lights down right now?
You know
Like
what? Maybe it's because
I
I'm so used to hearing like worse, worse
yeah,
lyrics that doesn't really phase me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I,
no, I could see it.
It's
that
Well,
that
yeah.
to me
radio
was
friendly
like,
enough.
wait, what do you mean worse
It's
lyrics?
like
Like you want Carly to be like,
I
hey,
listened to
let's fuck right
yeah,
now.
Megan Thee Stallion these
Yeah.
days. Come on.
I think
straight
this
up,
is
just be blunt.
something I'm gonna probably mention Fantana multiple times in this review. But it's something that Fantana did bring up in his review is that this album is very like the worst thing she says is like damn and drinking a bottle of tequila. Like if you
Oh,
like go
okay.
back and like listen to it, like those are the worst things she says. Everything else, it's like very innocent and like it's not like other pop albums. Like it's not.
But it's got horny energy, is what you're saying. Like
Yes, but it has that energy
it
in
does.
it.
There's
It does, though.
innuendos, I guess,
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
song, but
Yeah. So I guess maybe I was listening too much into the verses because the verses do kind of have like the how's the weather better now that there's no you. So that's why I feel like it's dangling that sexual energy. Like this what could have happened. Like if you hadn't fucked up, you could have had this. Because like the whole verses, she's kind of telling you like, oh, how are you doing now? Like,
Okay, so maybe we
uh,
misinterpreted the song or have different interpretations of it because to me it was more
yeah,
of that like yearn. I want you to fucking yearn. Like I need you to need me. And I need you to think about me. And I'll turn the lights down, and then we get to the nasty. That's what I thought. Like that stuff. Like that's what I was
It's a good thing
thinking.
I'm wearing earbuds because my parents are like next door.
Yeah, well, make sure they don't tune in then. No, but I mean
yeah,
that's not a bad thing to
yeah,
say.
Need you
It
to
is
yearn.
that it's got that like
yeah,
that to me is why it was kind of like that. Slide into the maturity kind of stuff.
yeah,
And
it's
I think
literally
that
just the
the
word fan like fantasize about me. That's I guess
yeah.
that's what turned you to thinking it was sexual energy. But
See, if she would have used the word yearn, I would have respected it a little bit more just because it's like a, high vocabulary thing. So, like, I would have
yeah,
liked
maybe
that.
I see. That's what I'm saying. This is why that these songs to me are just their formula and their structure are so simple that I feel I could write a song like that. That's
but you
Okay,
what
won't
okay.
though.
But
that
Yeah, do
okay,
it, Roger.
that's what I'm
uh,
saying.
a quick
You
counter
won't.
to that. A quick counter to that. If you feel like these songs are so simple, we just heard 5 different interpretations of its lyrics. So
Oh,
yeah,
Yes.
okay,
you know,
touche.
I feel like
Yeah.
does allow like that does show some degree of depth.
Is that
Yeah.
check and
Okay.
mate?
Fair enough.
Okay, so now let's before we
I was
talk
gonna
more
say
about
something
what this.
else.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just.
Yeah,
No,
we
no.
can
Go,
keep
Lex.
going.
Go,
Yeah,
go, go. Let's
Go
hear it.
for it.
It also could mean it's just like way too simple, that there's way too many like possibilities.
Yeah, that's true because it could just be from her side. It's like, dude, it's just about emotion. Like, it's and we're kind of segmenting it
Yeah.
off into like what our interpretations. Maybe I was really horny while I was listening to that album. I don't know, man. Like that's what makes it. That's what makes it really different for different people.
Yeah.
It's like her saying
Yeah.
the curtains were blue, and everyone's like, they're blue because of this, they're blue because of that. It's like, no, they
Yeah,
were blue because
right.
they came with the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Roger's favorite song on the album. I Really Like You. You son of a bitch. Arnold, thoughts on I Really Like You?
So I do like the fact that she says "like" in this song, because you can see this as a follow-up to "Call Me Maybe," because you don't go straight from like "Hey, call me" to "Hey, we banging babies out here," and I'm glad it doesn't say love. And she even says in the song, that she knows it isn't love, but that she really likes this person. It's just it's the next logical step after "Call Me Maybe." And I would say, like, in the sense of instrumentals, you got good punchy drums in there, and very inspired instrumentals, not very like cut paste or copy paste. So, and it doesn't feel cookie cutter. It definitely does have an original feel to it for me. And then also analyzing the music video, you do have Tom Hanks in it. So what more do you want?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Wow.
definitely check out the music video.
Okay.
It's actually what gave him
Respect.
coronavirus.
5 years ago?
5 years early.
It had a long incubation period.
Lex, thoughts on I Really Like You?
The production was good. Everything sounded real good. But again, like I can't get over the lyric part of it, and also like, how old is she?
She's
Carly Rae
34
Jepsen?
now.
She's
34 now.
34.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
So this came out in
Okay,
about
she
5
looks
years
good
ago.
though.
yeah.
But like, I can't. Okay, I thought y'all were gonna say like 26 or something. But I
No,
can't
she's-
picture like I don't want to roast.
Do it.
like
Do
a
it because
grown
I'm thinking
woman
the
saying,
exact same.
"I really like you."
No, I
I'm thinking
can't-
the exact same. I'm
I
thinking the
can't-
exact same thing.
I can't picture other 34-year-olds listening to that song and relating to it. Like,
It's radio friendly and like kid friendly, and like, soccer moms can pop it in the car with no issue. Like,
no, yeah,
what-
that's why I want to figure out who this album caters to, because then if it caters to younger
People like me and
girls,
Raymond. This
Yeah.
is- we are the target audience for this album.
People who are still innocent minded.
late
Vaguely.
20s, mid to late
Yeah.
20s,
Wait.
maybe early 30s, men.
no, if it caters to like young teens, then I get
Men
it.
who
Then it's a
listen
really
to
good
Anthony
song.
Fantano.
But yeah, for me,
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling that one.
Fair.
Sorry.
No, it's
Yeah.
totally fair. Raymond, thoughts on
Uh,
I Really Like You?
I kind of like
Love
it.
this song.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It does annoy me certain times, but it's one of those songs that's just so like innocent that it's like kind of like it's like watching DuckTales. If you guys understand what I'm saying.
Like with Scrooge McDuck.
Yes, it's like there's like an
The new one
innocent.
or
Just
the
either
old
one. Just either one. Like it's kind of annoying. But I like how Roger's just dying.
Roger's dying.
It's like annoying because they have like the duck voice and all that. But like it's also like innocent, but there's work that's put into it. And yeah, she like repeats, she says like a lot, but I don't know. In certain times, whenever I'm like in a really good mood, I can say I really, really, really like this song.
I agree with you. I I honestly, I give this 2 smiley faces on my Word document. I love.
Yeah. I can see how people would be annoyed by it, but like on a good day, it's a good song.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't think it would
I
get me out of my depression and me losing my family like I would the first track.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't. But if I'm already having a good day, then it would make my day better.
Like you already have a donut, but then somebody gives you another donut. It's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
I dig that. That's a perfect analogy for this song. And this is the one I was scared about. Roger. Roger.
Oh
I
yeah,
really like you.
it's a really long fart. Let's get it out there, dude. I just look it, dude. I can't stand it. It's there's everything about that fucking song. So here's the thing. When I used to work at Sears, right? And when I worked at Sears, there was this. When I worked at Sears, I would work in the kids department, which had a TV right over it that would play the same 3 songs the entire time. So I would hear this. I would hear what song is it? I love you like a love song, maybe, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh
I
god,
would.
that's like a
I
form of torture.
Right. Okay. So I would hear that song. Um, I don't know, anywhere between 50, 60 times a day, right? Because it was just on repeat, repeat, right? And and here's the thing, when I listen to "I Really, Really, Really Like You," it reminds me of those days, and it gives me like Vietnam flashbacks. And I can't. It hurts me. I physically I cringe when I listen to the song. And she says really, 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 really. She says really 67 times. Like
You
okay,
counted that?
I counted them, and it's 67 fucking times that she says really, and I was just like, you know what, dude, like I get the fucking point, right? You didn't need to say it like that many times, but I wanted to give it its chance. So I on the album listens through. I listened to it like 3 times out of the 6 that I listened to the entire album or whatever, right? But when I would go back to certain songs just to kind of listen at, all right, which ones do I think have their like replayability and which ones do I think have substance, which were very little of them, but uh that one was the one that was like my worst ranked song. I don't think it's completely, it's the most shallow one and the most yeah, I'm sure geared towards people who need to be like cheered up right away, you know, like and want that like, cutesy stuff, but this is the kind of stuff that I would imagine like if you wanted to ask your crush out in middle school to like, a prom date or whatever, and you needed to dedicate something, like that's what I imagine you would do, right?
This is
That's
like
the
6th grade
I feel
max.
attacked.
this is this is 6th grade stuff. Yeah,
I
so
didn't get to go to my
Yeah.
middle school prom, just to let y'all know.
I didn't go to my high school one, and I still hate this song. Like it's just, it was just, it was the worst song on the album for me, and that's it.
Okay, okay. This one is near the bottom for me of this record. It sounds like this song. This song was definitely like Carly's attempt at a "Call Me Maybe Two." It's like she brought out the big guns for like, yo, I need another massive radio hit, and it was this song. I can't picture this being a part of like a soundtrack to like a kids movie. Like this song will definitely be on one of those. If it hasn't already, it will be. Um, that being said, though, it's a fun song. It is one of those like if you catch me on a good day and it comes on, I'll sing along. It's a fun little thing. It's a very memeable song. It definitely It's funny that Arnold, was it about this one that you said it wasn't cookie cutter? Because this is the only
Mhm.
song on this album I could say it's kind of cookie cutter. It sounds like this is the, like I said, this definitely sounds like a, yo, we need another hit. We need another Call Me Maybe. And this song came out. And I think it almost became another Call Me Maybe. But uh, yeah, definitely not my favorite on the album. Uh, I need to hear it on a good day to be into it. So now let's get into the next song. Uh, Spoiler alert, this is absolutely my favorite song on the fucking record. So I'm very excited to talk about it. Give Me Love. Give Me Love. I love this song with my whole heart, but I'll let you guys talk about it first. Arnold, thoughts on Give Me Love?
I will say, you get a little bit of a darker instrumental on this song. It's a little bit it's on the lower end. And I would probably say this is probably the bass is on the lowest end possible in this whole album. You do have that pulsing beat back, but it's not the same dancey one, in my opinion. Um, the instruments serve to the song because the song's about her wanting to be loved again by an ex, and the dark instrumental with that goes hand in hand. I do say like this song is a def repeatable song. Like I love it entirely. It's got two smiley faces on my Word document instead of one
Nice.
or none. Um, I and this is kind of where you get a little bit of a realer Carly, in my opinion. Like this is maybe something she would want to do, because then you hear the next song, which we'll talk about that when that comes up. It's a little, into my opinion, a little bit more mature, but not on that like warm blood scale. So I would definitely I say this song is a great song. Give me love, give me more.
I love that ending. Lex, thoughts on Give Me Love?
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like her tone, like the tone of her voice, was a little different in this song. I don't know if it's because she was hitting the higher notes or I don't know what it was, but I liked her voice better in this song than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the one that I thought sounded a lot like J Lo's song. So it wasn't that other one for me; it was this one. I got a J Lo type of vibe from it, but
Hmm.
it was a little more vibey. But it didn't make my top four of the album that I would listen to, on my own time. But
Okay,
it was okay. I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
that's good. That's passing. That's
Yeah,
college
Still,
passing.
yeah,
it's passing in your household.
yeah, yeah.
D's get
It's
degrees, bro.
yeah. It's
C's.
scratch the surface there.
All right. Raymond, thoughts on Give Me Love?
I love this track. I, I I love this track so much. It is such a good song. Um, I love the beginning of it. It's very spacey. I love that on this. There's like this weird thing. I'm listening to the track right now uh, because I love it so much. But I just think it's like such a catchy song, and there's just so much about it that I I
I'm
just
right there
love
with
it.
you. I
I
love
love
this.
this song. Yeah, it's such a good song, and it's not.
The fact that he's listening to it right now.
Yeah, but there's not like much. Like it's not very in your face like the first couple of tracks are too. Like it's kind of like weirdly like step back, even though it is still punchy, and I don't know, just something about Carly's voice, just very quiet, and I think it's really good. I don't know, it's a good track.
I
It's a bop.
Okay, Roger, you,
I
you were
did
already
some
getting ready.
I did some trivia, some research, some diving into on this track, and Raymond, I hope you're going to be pleasantly surprised that I know this, but it turns out that the reason why she sounds like that is because her vocal cords were damaged because she was vaping for 9 straight days.
Oh
What? And I
shit!
said I
Yeah.
said it sounded better.
Yeah,
Where is this info?
Uh,
Pitchfork,
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork.
I read that article.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's why her voice sounds so toned down, and in my opinion, a little more genuine and vulnerable, and that's why
Yeah,
I kind of felt that that song was a little bit of if I needed if I was thinking that there was a because I didn't really think about Call Me Maybe 2.0, but if I were to choose one of the songs on this album that were aiming for that, it would have been Run Away With Me or Give Me Love. And that's just because it's such a chill song. At the same time, it's like a still equally as like infectious with its lyrics. So I um I don't know. It wasn't a terrible song. Will I listen to it on repeat? No. But is it something that I might pull up occasionally? Yeah, I did really enjoy that song, and the fact that her voice has that weird or like the very distinct tone because of her damaged vape cords.
I didn't know that.
That's interesting to me.
Vape cords.
Yeah, so she was blowing fat clouds, and it made for a good
A good song,
for a
dude.
good
Yeah.
song. So
Um,
yeah, that one
Got-
gets a little that one gets a pass for me because it's still annoying, but it's not terrible.
okay, let me get into this one. I've been waiting for this one. This is I said this absolutely my favorite song on the album. I love this song. It is a more musically subdued kind of song. It's not as in your face, not as punchy, like
Yeah.
Raymond said. Uh, I love her vocal delivery on this song. If this was the song that she damaged her vocal cords to, because I knew she had vape prior to recording this album, but I didn't know it was this song specifically. But if she was singing this song with damaged vocal cords, that is fucking weird because I think this was like her best vocal performance on the entire album. This song was performed flawlessly. I love the background vocals that she does for herself in the chorus. When you catch those upon repeated listens, like there's so much to love in this song. The lyrics, the chorus, as simplistic as it might be, it really works again to play on that duality of like innocence, but like this, awakening of sorts, like this coming of age type deal. Because again, you focus on the very innocent part of the song, which is "Gimme Love." She says that really loud, really clear,
Yeah.
very repeatedly. But then after that, you get that whole "Gimme Touch" or like "Give me please," and that kind of flies by. She does that. So she played it masterfully. This whole like battle of innocence versus just maturity, and that really comes out in this song. And uh, for experimentation today, I counted how many times back to back I played this on repeat today. It was 6 times on repeat before I moved
Wow.
on to the next
I
track
can't
Just
on
do
the
today.
that.
album. Just today. That is how much I love this fucking song. It is a perfect song in my perfect pop song in my opinion. Like this needed to be a single. How it wasn't, I have no fucking clue. Now let's get into. This is actually another one of my top three. All that. Um,
Yeah.
Arnold, thoughts on all that?
Okay, I'm gonna start off the song with that it gave me goosebumps, and it still gives me a little bit of goosebumps here and there when I listen to this song. Definitely, Carly's one like more mature sounding track in my opinion when it comes like when you combine the instrumentals and everything and the lyrics. I I can get with it because of the fact that it's a slow jam and it's got some slap bass in that shit. Uh,
Yeah.
so you can appreciate that. You can appreciate. Um, and there's some '80s pop influence in there too that I can see that. And I do like that she has a little bit of innocence in this. She's not like grown 34-year-old Carly Rae Jepsen. She's what 29-year-old Carly Rae Jepsen, and she's still innocent. She's saying
Makes a world of difference.
She's still like the innocence of saying, if I'm all that, if you want me. It's not like cause you want me, cause I'm all that. She ain't like Megan the Stallion, I'm that bitch. She's still like timid white girl from Canada. She also has the innocence of saying that she'll be your friend. She'll be this person's friend, which could be a nod to that. Call me maybe. You know, right after Call Me Maybe, you become friends. So it shows the steps of from stranger to acquaintance to friends to lovers, and maybe staying lovers or becoming strangers again. So I'd love this out. I like this song. I don't love it. I will give it 1 smiley face on my Word document instead of
Ooh.
2, but I do love that it's a slow jam. It's great.
Okay, Lex, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was one of the 4 that I put the little star on that were my favorites. This is definitely more my lane, like this type of style, you know, slow jam, more bass. It seemed a little more emotional to me than the other ones, which I liked. Do y'all know? Okay, do y'all know the song? Y'all know Big Papa, right? By Biggie Smalls.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, do y'all know Gwen Stefani's version of it? I forgot what she named it, but she sang over that track.
Is it Big Gwenny?
No, no. Y'all don't know the name of that song?
No, I don't.
No, it doesn't.
Oh man. Okay. Well, she sang over that one, and that's exactly what this song reminds me of. It's her version. Well, you all know Gwen's voice, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when Gwen is singing,
Luxurious.
yes, yes. Look, play that real quick, Roger, so they can hear it.
I'm not gonna. I can't put it on here because
We
it's
can't
gonna
play
mute the
music.
screen.
Your little
Yeah.
phone?
No, I mean it's gonna mute the stream.
Oh, okay,
The
yeah.
audio.
Copyright.
Well, that's what it reminded me of. I got Gwen vibes with it, so
We'll tell
I
everyone
had
to
to put the
pause.
star because I love Gwen. Huh?
We'll tell everyone to pause, go listen to that song, come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. So you can agree with me. So we can be on the
We
same
only
side
got
here.
5 people watching. No, don't pause. Wait until after
Okay,
the video.
okay,
We
yeah.
got one.
No,
This is
you
for
think
the
he
people on
means
the
Stay
the
on,
audio?
please.
You're
We
right,
need you
you're
guys
right.
here.
I would give this
Oh,
one
okay,
though.
on the audio version.
I would give this one an 8 out of 10 though. This one was really good, in my opinion.
Oh, 8 out of 10. I'm
Yeah.
digging it. I'm digging that.
Nice.
Raymond. Is all that Raymond?
It's the perfect night drive song.
I love that.
I love this track. It
Love it.
it reminds me of just going down the street cruising at night. Such a good track. I don't really have much to say about it in all honesty. It's just a really solid track. I wouldn't say it's one of my super favorites, but again, if it's nighttime and you're in a car, put this on. Some magic's gonna happen.
Some babies will be
All
made.
right.
Yeah.
That's okay. So, can I go?
Okay,
Yeah.
Roger? Yeah, Roger.
All right. So this to me is the horniest track on the album. And the reason is because you would definitely hear that like '80s like slap bass, which really cracked me up when Lex said that it was more her lane. Because I've always told Lex that like, hey, some of your songs, dude,
That's those endorphins.
kind
Come
of
on,
horny,
meet
man.
up.
So that lane is definitely like here, but then you get that like almost kind of not really. I'm kind of teasing, little bit of I need to stay innocent or whatever, because it's like, oh, and I'll be your friend, but show me that I'm all that to you, and fucking worship me. Like that's what I'm hearing, right? Like that's the vibe I'm getting. Like show me, dedicate yourself to me. Like think about me, and again go towards like the fantasizing sort of stuff, and I'll be your friend. Like what kind of friend are we talking? Are we talking like friends, or are we talking like friends? Like which one? So that's why to me, like when you hear the song, like it's either one one of two things. Either one, shit songwriting, which means that like the lyric itself, like she doesn't fucking know what she wants, but she wants to sound horny, right? So it's there, right? Or two, you've got to mask that like, you know, that maturity under that like guise of like innocence. So yeah, that's that. It was one of the more listenable tracks for sure because of that like '80s like synth kind of slap bass stuff. Um, so I really dug that out that track.
All right.
Not the
Yeah.
lyrics though. Fuck the lyrics.
As soon as you get those synths in the intro, I knew we were in for a ride. Then the slap bass comes in. Everything about this song just really really works for it. Uh, I got vibes from it. I don't know if I'm the only one here, but hearing it almost reminded me of "You Are Not Alone" by Michael Jackson. Like
You're
that's
not alone.
exact. I got that vibe from it, and that's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, this song is so good. And Roger, you're right. It is a very horny song. But this is definitely like a high mark on the album. This album paying homage to 80s and early 90s synth pop and some nods to R&B and stuff. A slow jam had to be on this record. Like there had to be one, and she knocked it out of the park on it. This is definitely uh, even outside the context of the album, like had this been even by like another artist, I would jam the fuck out of this. It's a really really good song.
Yeah.
And with that, let's get into
The
the next.
beginning synth, just by the way, the beginning synth sounds a lot like "For the First Time" by Mac DeMarco on This Old Dog. I'm not sure if any of
Yeah.
you guys have heard that album
I
before,
kind of got
but
that. Yeah.
you heard that?
Yeah.
That's what I like. I was listening to that. I was like, oh shit. But anyway, go on.
Are we gonna need to make this a two?
A two-parter?
I think we should definitely do the standard and then if you guys want to stay, let's go ahead and do the deluxe.
I needed to wrap like because like I was on the. That's why I asked how long
Of course.
we were
but
going
we can
for.
I mean,
So.
continue without you.
Okay,
we're
cool.
almost nearing the completion of our time slot. So this will be a two-parter. Let's come back to this one. And
Well,
so let's make it huh?
We can finish this track though, right?
Yeah, we can finish this track. Let's get into
Okay.
this track. Number 6. We're halfway through the album. Boy Problems. Arnold, thoughts on this song?
I do like the nod of the 90s songs where you had an opening where it's like a phone conversation. In the intro, you hear Sia, Sia the chandelier bitch, saying that she's tired
She's
of
very talented. Do not refer to her that way.
the chandelier lady. Okay.
You know what? I'll see y'all later. I'm
Hearing
gonna go.
Carly talk about these boy problems, she's like, I'm tired of it, whatever. I do like that nod of the 90s, and excuse me for using the B word, listeners and audio listeners. Again, we're hearing some good slap bass. You actually hear some good guitar on this also. I will say this song is good instrumentals, kind of basic of a pop song, boy problems, like who's got them, I have them too. So it kind of shows her saying like, yeah, I'm this star, but I also have these issues. So I can get down with that. The music video for this is a pretty basic music video, just like the song, but I do like how basic it is. It's very it's edible, I would say.
Yeah.
It's like the chicken nuggets of this album.
Yeah.
Like anyone could just eat it. You pop one in your mouth. You don't have to add barbecue sauce because it's basic. So, I like it.
All right, okay. Lex, thoughts on Boy Problems?
I just felt like this was another filler.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I wrote down the pre-chorus because I thought the pre-chorus was really good. The melody for the pre-chorus. So it's the part where she says, "And I know she's right, and I should not be offended." That part. So I liked that. Was like that covered a span of like 15 seconds maybe. that was a chunk that prime, but the chorus was not feeling it. Just because I I like to turn to music for like my therapy, right? Like that's therapeutic for me. And if I listen to this and it says boy problems, who's got them? Like that's not gonna really help me through anything, you know? Like it needs to be, for me, it would need to be a little more specific, like, you know, a little more specific, and also try to, I don't know, like, give some sort of message to it, some sort of important, you know, message. But yeah, this one I wasn't digging that one.
Okay. Okay. Raymond, thoughts on boy problems?
I like this track, but I do agree with Lexi that it's kind of a filler track. But then I also agree with Arnold that it's edible. It's not a bad track. It's a bop, but it's not something I would necessarily go back to and be like, this is the song I want to listen to. But it's not a song I would skip either. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this track personally, other than that. Yeah.
Okay. Roger, thoughts on boy problems?
Do any of you guys know who Saint Pepsi is? Now goes
Yeah.
by Skylar Spence or
Yeah.
Skylar Spencer, right? No.
No, I
Who
know
said
who.
yes?
I do.
Okay, cool. So this song sounded so heavily inspired by that one song by Skylar Spence. I forget the fucking name of it. I should have looked it up while I was thinking about it right now. But there's a song that's almost exactly this, and and it freaked me out like hearing this because I was like, oh, Fiona Coin. That's the song. Do you know that song, Raymond?
No, I haven't heard it.
Okay, so if you listen to it, it starts off almost exactly the same. There's a phone call. There's some, well, not phone call. There's some like background conversation like going on, and then there's like the kick, and then there's just that little like slap bass kind of thing. And this is what really bugged me, and I think a good ending point for me in terms of like if we are gonna make this a two-parter. Um, this is what really bugged me about the overall album. Um, it tries to modernize music that was made before, right? It tries to modernize like 80s and 90s and 70s sound, right? It tries to modernize that and add in the infectiousness of like, modern pop, but it does it in such a lazy way that it just doesn't
Ooh.
it doesn't like stick with me. The only thing that sticks with me is when I hear these songs is that like I've heard this before, and I don't know if I've heard this before on this album a few tracks ago, or if I heard this all like in a what's it called, or if I've heard this exact same like attempt at modernizing something that's already been done in another song. And when I hear Fiona Coin, Saint Pepsi, Skylar Spence, the dude basically fucking spearheaded vaporwave, which is a completely different topic or genre, but it had the same thing, modernizing old pop. There was a joke going around for a while that vaporwave was basically 80s soda commercials on slow mo.
Yeah.
So and they're right because there's a lot of that stuff that's basically adapted into that. So if you go and you listen to like the must listens of vaporwave, you'll hear like the Macintosh 95 one, and you'll hear Saint Pepsi, and you'll hear Skylar Spence and all those different artists. They have this song is like the very base level version of like vaporwave from those artists. So that's what really bugged me, is that this was an attempt at making such a leap forward in music for her and maturity, but this song is the one that's kind of like it shows the failed attempt at maturity versus the failed attempt at like viral like infectiousness from Call Me Maybe on that other I really 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 like you song. So that those two songs, if I needed to pinpoint songs that had like a failure point, it's those two: Boy Problems and I really really like you.
Yeah.
That was just my point on it. And so and it's such a disappointing, and I'm sorry, Raymond, keep grilling the song, but
It's okay.
it's because when you get to the midway point of an album, it's kind of like what pushes you to like, should I continue fucking listening to this, or should I just like stop here? And had I not had to be on this podcast, I probably would have stopped at Boy Problems.
Stop! You're breaking his heart.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm really hurt, and
I'm just
Stop
saying like,
already
but here's the thing is that like I'm not an
Raymond Ray Jepsen is still kicking. Come on.
no,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still. It's because here's the thing, though. I like if you listen to the music that I listen to, I'm like notoriously. I mean, at least from my friends, like I listen to a lot of downer music, so
yeah,
there might be a little bit of that in there for reference as to why I dislike it so much. But my music taste doesn't align with that at all. However, I was enjoying this album fairly well up until Boy Problems, which when it got to that point, I was like, all right. And I liked the pre-chorus, just like Lex said. That was the best part of that song for me. And then once it gets to the blim blim, and then Boy Problems, and I was like, all right, that's it.
yeah.
I'm out. So yeah, that was that. But it doesn't. On part two, you'll see Raymond. There's a good side of what I have to say for these
Oh,
for the rest of the tracks.
I love the last half. The last half has my favorite track on there, and I won't say which one it is, but I think the last most people or most albums kind of teeter off towards the end, but I think Carly Rae Jepsen, besides the deluxe album, which has one track I don't like, um, in the standard edition, I think the second half, if not, or just as strong, if not stronger, than the first half.
Yeah, and I think that's also why maybe that midpoint track was a little disappointing, is because there's so much good stuff in the second half, right? And it
Yeah,
has my favorite track is in the second half. But I'm saying like in terms of like structural at this point, I've for me as a listener, like again for the first time after 5 years this album's been out. Um, there's already been like two or three like biffs for me, and that's why when I hear Boy Problems on my continual repeats, I'm always just like, nah, I'm out,
yeah,
but then I continue and you push through and you do that, you're rewarded with like a much more decent second half. Like if the second half was its own album, I would enjoy it way more than the first.
yeah.
All right, okay. So we've got like 8 minutes left, so I'm just gonna run through my thoughts on Boy Problems, so we can get to plugs. Uh, I like this song. My biggest problem with Boy Problems is that I think the chorus is a little cluttered. I don't know. I felt like there was like she couldn't really get it right. Like there were like too many words that couldn't fit well structurally in the chorus, or I feel like it sounded a little off to me. Musically, I really enjoyed it. I think I like the music way more than I like, the lyrics on this one. And I'm glad that both Lex and Roger mentioned the pre-chorus because that is, I think that's like that did sound very genuine. Sounded very like
Yeah.
spontaneous. Like that. It's like she's having fun doing that part of the song, which adds to how fun the song could be. But I do feel like the chorus on this song is possibly the weakest chorus on the album, and that's with the fact that this song has this album has a song that the chorus is just saying I really 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 like you, and and even then, that's better than the chorus on Boy Problems to me. Um, but yeah, that's about the most I can say about this track. This is going to be a two-parter. I don't know when we're gonna get back together and do the second half of the album. Hopefully, it's soon. But right now, everybody on here is a very talented and creative. Here it is, Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion. Everybody on here is a very talented, creative individual. So I want to give you guys the time to plug any projects that you guys have, social media profiles, anything like that that you want our listeners, all four of them, to be directed towards. The floor is all yours. Arnold, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, of course. I always have stuff to plug. So down below you can see youtube.com/timebombvids. I will be uploading old video podcasts on there. And we'll definitely update you soon about the soon audio cast. There's a picture of it, just my doodle of it. Besides that, I do have shitty vlogs up there and some other random junk. So go ahead and give it a look.
All right. Lex, anything you'd like to plug? Any projects and anything like that?
As of right now, probably just my Instagram because like right now I'm working on a new album, right? And I don't want to give people my SoundCloud because my SoundCloud has all my old stuff and I'm kind of not vibing that anymore. So, my Instagram is Lexi
right.
Rae. So it's LEXYY_RAE. And also you can check out my YouTube channel. I think it's under, yeah, it's Lexi Chapa. So it's LEXY Chapa. And that's about it.
All right, yeah, give her a listen. She played the mic drop once, and
Oh, yeah.
probably one of my favorite sets there. That was really cool. So
Yeah, that was
yeah,
fun.
give her a listen. And we have Raymond. Anything you'd like to plug this week?
Yes, I actually have quite a few things. Yes.
All right.
You can all follow me on Twitter and Twitter and Instagram at Nervous Dolphin, which is my usual stuff. And then Wednesday at 4 p.m., I will actually have Francisco Flores joining me at kzsm.org, and we will be doing our second episode of Acid Wax, where we will be discussing joy as an act of resistance.
I'm very excited.
I love the album so much, and I'm really excited to have you on the show. And that will be on live at kzsm.org, so you can check that out. And then an hour after that, we will be doing my other podcast, The Big Sad. We will be debuting that on kzsm.org, so you can check that out too. And other than that, that's about it. Also, Roger is going to be our guest next week. Did you send me which album you're bringing?
Yeah, I think we were gonna do Little Joy.
Okay.
And the reason that's an album I fucking love, and I'm really excited for that. So, yeah, you just stay safe out there, Franny and Raymond. I don't want you guys to, get all sick and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
we will.
Just
what was I gonna say? So,
all right.
What was I gonna say? Shit. Oh, right. Yeah, plugs. Sorry, I'm like super sidetracked right now. I'm just doing work stuff that they were just sending me. So we do the mic drop. Franny and I, your host for this podcast. Franny is the co-host for Aliens. For the mic drop, which is right now indefinitely postponed as we still have Cultura shut down, which sucks. But I mean, it's for everybody's safety. We are, however, kind of working towards this virtual open mic stuff. I kind of said earlier that I don't want to do them at all anymore, and that's just because an online virtual format kind of sucks for an open mic. So it's just weird, So, but we'll see. I mean, if Lex says that she wants to see another one, and if other people say they want to see other ones, then I'll go ahead and work towards a better production for a second one. I do want to give shouts out to you guys here the at Hindsight 2020, Arnold and Franny. You guys are doing a great job. I think this is in terms of like a newer, like fresher format of podcast and like being able to have a discussion about music. It's really cool instead of having like the usual like you know just misshapen, not no format and no organization or notes or anything like that. This is a lot cooler, so I dig it. Aliens on the Border is the I guess the umbrella or the yeah, right, would I say that it's like the parent podcast. I don't know. So you can find us on Aliens on the Border. That's me and Josh. Josh is going to be away from the helm for a little bit. He's dealing with his own stuff, and I will be taking care of most of the Aliens on the Border stuff for now. So follow there so you can find the Hindsight 2020 audio, and I'll upload those and put descriptions as soon as possible. And what else am I doing? No, the Lockdown Listens is also part of Aliens on the Border. You can find that on the page. I haven't done it in a long time, but it's basically staying away from talk about COVID-19 and negativity and connecting with friends. Shit. Cultivarte. Follow Cultivarte on Facebook and Instagram. It's cultivarte.laredo. That's it's spelled exactly the way it sounds. It's like cultivate, but with arte at the end. That is now a nonprofit that I've helped start and have been a part of. It's basically a group of creatives and artists that advocate a bunch for local art, and we just recently acquired a 501c status. So
Nice.
I'm like really excited about that, and we're working towards some really cool shit. So follow that. There's a bunch of other stuff that I could probably plug, but those are the main things right now. Just go and check that stuff out. Follow me on Instagram at shbabyisokay, and that's where I've got all my stuff whenever I talk comedy or whatever. So you can follow me there, and that's it. Those are all my plugs. Thanks for listening.
All right, okay. Thank you guys for listening to our is this our third episode? Yeah, our third episode of
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020. This is going to be a two-parter. There's a lot to talk about still on this album, Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion. If you guys listening have any albums that you would like to suggest, anything you'd like for us to talk about, let us know in the comments or message our page. Uh, this was a lot of fun. Stay safe out there. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Peace
Later,
out.
y'all.